consequence of not doing that is actually yours anyway. So you can sue as much as you
100%,
like.
and you lose your life to that, and then all of a sudden you've got no life left.
Absolutely.
And who does that affect?
Now, I was going to come to that. So you married. How's Greg taking this? Let me rephrase that question in a different way. How are you both coping with this? Because I mean, it's not one taking it versus the other. How are you both coping with this? And I know it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough question, that. You know, when I first got the news, I remember saying to him in the car on the way home, I said, just know that just because I'm carrying the cancer, it doesn't mean that we don't both have it. So your feelings are as justified as mine. And your feelings of fear or anger or just complete disbelief are as important and as valuable as mine are. So that's been something that I've always said to him, just don't walk away. Don't think that what you're feeling isn't, needs to be heard. And it's hard, Vic, because I think especially for a guy,
powerful.
You can't control it, your loved one. And, when we talk about roles in a family, the man is the protector, right? That's what God created him for. I don't mean that doesn't mean that women can't play that role as well, but I am saying that in terms of control and losing it, right? That's where he believes he's losing his control. Yeah. So it's been massive for us. And I think, the whole thing of now we're looking at the first questions we asked were, do we risk not having children? What do we balance? It's my life versus our future kids. And he just said to me, he said, I don't want kids if I don't have a mum to look after them, because kind of then, and for my family, it's been enormous. It's been something I'm super good at looking after all these things and making sure all my ducks are in a row. And this little duck just gone crazy, man. So it's hard for him. He's been incredible. We laugh, his cupboard's full of Kevlar vests because of the hormones. He calls himself a pincushion. He's been amazing. He's been really, really amazing.
And I think it's an important point to note is that you in all this, do you find the ability to have laughter? Do you find the ability to do, I mean, I know this is a crazy term, but because in more ways than one, none of us are living it, but to have some kind of normality in this.
Yeah. So
what do you do in that? And I think it's important. I just want to ask, how do you do that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I did a video and I haven't released it yet. I spoke about 5 things that I think that you should do when somebody you love goes through this, or somebody you know, or a stranger who you'd like to reach out to. Because there's a really weird psychological dynamic that happens when somebody is diagnosed. Yeah. It becomes a very ego. You got to be. It's a very tricky place to go, Vic, but it's an important place to go, because I think, so everybody initially says, what can we do to help?
Yeah.
And the one thing I did on my video was I said, don't ask the person who's not well what you can do to help. It's like somebody who's grieving, same thing, because they are making decisions. They can't, like I found I couldn't, when I first found I couldn't even make a decision about what I wanted on my toast. Like those small everyday decisions, because you're making big decisions about life, about whether or not you have children, about how you do fertility and whether you do a radical hysterectomy, or whether it's hereditary and it comes from my mom. These are decisions about my actual living thing. So the one thing I would say, like to a lot of people, is understand their love language. So learn what will resonate with them. I've had some incredible people in my life do things where I'm a big acts of service person. So things like making sure I had a meal when I'd just heard the news, the meal arrived on my door.
Yeah.
Things like that that are
yeah.
just, because people can't, people can't put into words what they need. They can't say, they'll just be like, it's fine. But they probably need it more than you think, but they can't articulate what they need because they can't make the decision. They can't tell you because they can't make that decision.
Yeah.
So learning what their love language is really important, and learning the love language of the person who's their primary. So understanding what Greg needs too. Because the big thing for me, and this is this is what really has probably been the hardest thing between Greg and I'm not worried about the fact that I have cancer. I'm worried about how Greg is going to be with me having cancer.
Right.
So the first phone calls I made were to his friends to say, I'm letting you know that this has happened. I need you to step in and be there for him because I can't, there'll be things that I won't be able to do. And it's learning those dynamics within.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, it's so powerful because when that person's taken care of and you know that they've got a strong base and a strong group of people around them.
Surrounding them.
You just breathe a bit easier.
Wow. And